What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, wanted to talk about something that Phil Spencer said during his interview with IGN McCaffrey. He made a comment about how he doesn't want to engage in the slimy console practices of other, people, competitors, whatever. That's a paraphrasing, but he did use the word slimy. So, and he said slimy, I think he said console practices in order to try to get you to do what I want you to do, the console maker or the company to do it, And what he was talking about was many things, but the one that is relevant is the paid exclusives. Now, why do I bring this up? Because, Sony's been doing this all generation. The caveat to that is that Microsoft started it in the 360 era with Call of Duty. That's why they won that generation. And now, according to the Ponies and Donkey Unicorns, they didn't win because PlayStation 3 sold more, but they also sold, 3 or 4 or 5 years after the fact that generation was done. So they did it. They sold longer only to win, but they didn't win. They got murdered. They got murked. They caught up a little bit at the end, but, it's I would call it like a tie, basically. But for the mind share, basically, they won. And then, obviously Xbox messed it up for the next gen. But anyway. So Money had in these exclusives. The newest one is Wu Yang, You Wong, whatever it's called, the Monkey King joint. And the devs haven't come out to say why. People are speculating. Javis Corden asked people, he asked the developer, forgot their name, and he also asked Microsoft. Microsoft gave a statement, and they said, we cannot comment on the practices or contracts of our partners with their partners or whatever. And so that just tells me it's contractual, and what does that mean? That means that Sony paid for it not to be on Xbox. This is an ongoing story. It keeps happening, right? And people are mad at Microsoft. They're like, why aren't you stopping it? I'm like, look, the only way to stop that is to pay them more money, is to say, okay, these guys are going to get this exclusive deal with Sony. Sony's going to pay them money for them not to put it on Xbox. And so what does Xbox have to do? Pay them more money to put it on Xbox, like regular? And that's asinine. It's like, okay, I'm sitting here. I got a product, and you're not giving me the game. It's extortion, basically. If you want to break it down, it's extortion. So, legal extortion, but still extortion all the same. And so I'm like, I think Microsoft is in the right by not paying these extortion fees, if you will, to these different companies. It's like, is it a bidding war for exclusivity? Or, Microsoft could outbid Sony every time. But I think it's a matter of principle. And also, it's a ticking time bomb. And so all these Ponies and Donkey Unicorns are crying, or they're like, ah, ha, ha, another game missing Xbox. Another game missing Xbox. You know what's not going to miss Xbox? Call of Duty. You know what's not going to miss Game Pass day one? Call of Duty. So all this stuff that's happening, all this posturing, all this chest up, beating the chest for the Ponies and the Donkey Unicorns is their fear. They're scared of the future. And the future is Call of Duty, new home, Xbox. Everybody's going to buy Xbox to play Call of Duty on Game Pass. That's it. It's simple. And so now they're trying to scrape and scrab and scripe. Those aren't words. To get any little W, lowercase obviously, for Sony. And look, they should just switch sides, or don't switch. Just go to PC or something. Well, they don't even want you either. Listen. I don't know what to tell you, Ponies and Donkey Unicorns. You dug yourself into this hole along with Sony. They dug the hole, and you just, this is comfortable. And now we about to bury you. We about to bulldoze the dirt right on top of you and put a parking lot there. Because, look, this is the situation. Whether you like it or not, you know it's true. Whoever has Call of Duty wins. That is the industry right now. Like if Microsoft owned Epic and they own Fortnite, they would kind of win too. I mean, they have like one pillar of the major games of service, which is Minecraft, right? Boom. They have one of them. They have a very important one. It's like my first game, Minecraft, and then you graduate to Fortnite, and then you graduate to Call of Duty, whatever, you know? So they have the beginning, and then they have the end, Call of Duty, and then in the middle is Roblox and Fortnite and whatever else. And so I'm looking at what Microsoft is doing, and I'm saying, okay, well, look, you know, these little indie companies are going to take these deals because they want money, they need money. It's true. So I don't blame the indie companies for taking the money, right? I was going to say I don't blame Sony, but look, Sony has put themselves in this position where they are in desperate need right now. They're in desperate need of games. They're in desperate times, calls for desperate measures, and their desperation is showing very clearly. And so anytime Sony money hats a game, what they're saying is, we don't want this on Xbox because it hurts our business. You're the market leader, supposedly market leader. How are you afraid of last place? How is that? How are you afraid of last place? They're afraid because the truth is Microsoft is no longer last place. You could tout revenue numbers all you want. You could do the Colin Moriarty, what he did. Oh, revenue year by year, it's growing. Look at the profit, it's growing too. I'm like, you're making over 100 million. And you're only making 10. I mean, they made 106 billion, I think, the last number. And they only made 10 billion profit. So you're spending almost 10 times as much, actually 10 times as much as you're making. That doesn't seem like a good ROI, right? Does it? I mean, no, it doesn't. If you're spending 10 times as much as then you're making, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, I spent $100 and I made a $10 profit. You have to do that 1,000 million times to make any type of money. If you're making 50% or something like that, I mean, I don't know. That seems a little bit too high, especially for Sony, but it doesn't make sense. And I think Microsoft's numbers were like really high. They made 50% on this, 50% on that. The only thing that was down were actual physical console sales, but everything else was up. Money up, profits up. So in the grand scheme of things, if you're making money everywhere else except for consoles, that's down, whatever. I mean, that was just console sales. I don't know what, as far as the money goes, how much profit they lost or gained on the console sales. But once again, that's a small, it's not insignificant, but it is a small piece of the puzzle that these donkey unicorns and ponies have, for some reason, made it the main piece when it's not. Even Sony themselves says, no, it's not. But, you know, donkey unicorns and ponies don't want to hear that. They just want to grasp to anything that they could possibly win at. And that's that. But, yeah, so Phil's saying the slimy practices, blah, blah, blah. And then this happening. Wukong, I think this was called, whatever. Missing Xbox. However long the exclusivity is for. You know, once again, it's a sign of desperation by Sony. And it's, I mean, they can try to do that with all these little indie games, but I'm going to be real. I don't think Square Enix is going to fall for that anymore because they lost so much money doing that with Sony. And they figure, oh, we get extra money and then they have the most consoles and then it don't sell because they don't buy games over there. The casuals do not buy Final Fantasy VII because they're like, oh, what is this? It's too foreign. It's not Madden. It's not Fortnite. It's not Roblox. It's not Call of Duty. They don't care. It's not Football Club. They don't care. They're not going to buy it. And guess what games are like Sony games, Sony exclusive games? There's none of the ones I mentioned. None of those games are Sony games. So Sony's not making the games that the casuals want to buy. And those are the people who own PlayStation 5s. You see what's happening? It's almost like Sega all over again. I mean, I know it's a different actual situation because Sega the company was just out of its mind. It was bipolar, and they just destroyed themselves. But what Sony's doing right now is not looking at their audience. Let me rephrase that. Let me step that back, because they are, right? They're looking at them, but they are too late to the party. Party's already done. Dudes sweeping up. They putting all the drink, the liquor's going away. You missed the party, Sony, because they're trying to do games of service. Jim Ryan had the right idea a generation too late. And the casuals, Sony should have been working on their own Apex Legends, their own Fortnite. But they weren't. They were, let's make The Last of Us 2. Let's make The Woke of Us 2. Let's do this. Let's do God of War 2 again. Ragnarok. DLC, but it's the game now. They did all this stuff. And it is not bringing in the casuals. The casuals don't care. It's not even... the only thing that really ticked up on the meter for them this generation was Hogwarts Legacy. And that's another game that their their tyrannical, slimy business practices to get them to buy PlayStation 5s. Okay, first of all, I will say that I don't know what these companies, like Warner Brothers, I guess that's Warner Brothers, they're lawyers. They don't care. They're just like, we're getting the money. It's exclusive. Fine, let's sign it. It's a standard document. But you look at it and say, the competitors can't advertise it. That's harming Hogwarts Legacy's potential sales. Like, sure, you have the marketing, but it's not exclusive, right? So that's why I feel what Phil Spencer said was right, because they did some slimy moves on Hogwarts Legacy, because it's like, Xbox, the only way you can promote this game is on XboxWire.com, on the Xbox.com on said site. You can't put up advertising bumper videos with the Xbox logo on the back of it on YouTube or whatever. I mean, you know what? I get that. It's marketing. But they couldn't even put like a feature of Hogwarts Legacy on their YouTube channel. Not as an advertisement, as like, hey, this time in Xbox. And They couldn't even do that. I'm like, what kind of bullshit is this? You know? And I want to know I want to know how much money Sony is spending on this bullshit marketing, you know? And I want to see, like, is it worth it for Microsoft to go in there and procure that, or do they have a different plan? And the thing is like, I don't think people are, first of all, they're too emotional, right? And they look at the surface level and like, and a bunch of pony bots. And I was listening to Sean and Dirt today, and they were going in on pony bots. And today was a very funny show, because they were getting in on Dirt today. It was super funny. They called Sean Jafar from Aladdin. I was like, okay, that was funny. But I think there's a bigger play. I think Microsoft is seeing what's happening, right? And they're allowing certain things to happen because they know they have Call of Duty, right? They have the winning hand. They have the cards in it. They won already. They're just sitting back and watching everybody else sweat it out. They already won. So it's like Xbox is sitting there and it's like, okay, look, we got Call of Duty. Everybody's going to come to Xbox, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Sony's still pulling the stuff, right? So it's like, okay, one thing they can't do is fight back, because then they look like the bad guy, because, it's the big giant $1 trillion corporation beating up on the little tiny $1 billion corporation. You know? And they're seeing this, and remember, they just went through this 2-year fight with the FTC and the CMA and all that stuff. So all of these things play a factor in how Xbox is proceeding right now. Like, if the FTC and the CMA and none of that stuff happened, and they just bought Activision Blizzard and didn't matter at all, and they could just they probably wouldn't be doing this. They probably would have made Call of Duty a little bit exclusive, or had some exclusive skins or something like that. But they're playing that Kumbaya stuff in order to adhere to the I don't want to say agreements, but what was said during the hearings, during the court case, which is fine. It's in a way it's fine because it's better for gamers in the long run, and it's better for their business, and that is really the bottom line. And now they may look like, oh, the optics are weird to a bunch of pony bots like Tim Puppy and stuff, but that doesn't matter to Xbox. That doesn't matter to Microsoft, because they're looking at the numbers and they're like, look, one guy over here crying, one grown-ass man crying about getting his feelings hurt. We don't care. Especially, dude, Matt Booty. I'm afraid of Matt Booty. Y'all don't know. But look, if Matt Booty, okay, I think it's going to be this way. When Phil Spencer leaves eventually, I think it's going to be Sarah Bond. She's young. She's beautiful. Yes, let's go. She's the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. Matt Booty's in charge of Xbox, right? And Matt Booty, I think Matt Booty is ruthless. I think Matt Booty is like one of them CEOs is like, I think Phil has got the muzzle on Matt Booty right now, because Matt Booty is like, we gonna spend them on a business. We can bury them right now. Let's go. Like, Matthew, calm down now, Matthew. We're not gonna do that. But I wanna. No. And boop, he bops him on the nose and go, okay, fine. He's a Rottweiler Pitbull man. He's crazy, man. Matt Pitbull Booty. Man, shoot. When Matt ascends, y'all gonna wish Phil was Kumbaya again, because if it was up to Matt would destroy PlayStation. Microsoft is in the position to destroy PlayStation. They could do it. Matthew Pitbull Booty would destroy PlayStation. But he's in charge of games. So it's his decision, of course, with the approval of Satya and mainly Phil, that he's got this plan. Okay, we have the games that are freaking monster games like Call of Duty and Minecraft and stuff. That goes everywhere. I mean, it's already everywhere, so whatever. And then we got our AAA bangers, like what do you say? I guess Fable and Forza and Halo and all those things. More than likely they'll stay exclusive. And then you have the more niche, independent, indie type games like Hellblade 2 and right? Maybe South of Midnight might fall into that as well. And so you can kind of infer from that. It's like, okay, the big games from Activision that have always been multi-plat are probably going to remain that way, right? Boom. Okay, there you go. The exclusives that were born on Xbox, maybe some of them, maybe not, depending. I mean, I don't know if any of the Halo stuff will go. Maybe Master Chief Collection, maybe, but I don't even know if that's worth it. You know what I mean? So, Gears, I don't think so, because those are like identity type of things, and they would. I don't know if they would harm the brand in any way, but to pony bots and flip floppers and stuff, it would, because they get their feelings hurt or whatever. And actually, let me end the video on this. I never spoke out of my feelings about the whole these games going to PlayStation or Switch and stuff like that. And honestly, it's I don't like Sony because of their business practices and how they're treating gamers, basically, right? It has nothing to do with the quality of the game. It's really focused on me. It's focused on the business practices. And that's really it. If they were freaking doing exactly what Xbox is doing, as far as they got their PSN is the same, and they straighten everything up and boom, 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 and they're being nice and all that stuff, and they were genuine, then I would be like, okay, cool. They're basically both the same. I just like, do I like blue better or do I like green better? You know, do I like whatever? But that's not the case. And my opinion about the Xbox games going to PlayStation and Switch, I don't care, because this whole generation, ever since Phil took over, his kind of motivation and his goals and how he has been navigating the industry is to try to perpetuate growth, perpetuate health of the industry, within the industry, in the industry, for the industry. And Nintendo's doing their own thing. They're not harming any type of consumers. They're doing exclusive stuff, but it's a bespoke machine. It's very unique in that respect. So they're not doing things like, oh, we're gonna buy away exclusivity. We're gonna buy exclusivity for this and that. I mean, they did do the Bayonetta 2 and 3, or just 3 or whatever, but they funded it. So I mean, that though, when that happens, I'm like, fine, that's fine. Like when Street Fighter 5 happened, I was like, you know what? I don't like it, but Capcom needed money. Sony was down. I mean, maybe they went to Microsoft first and they said, no, whatever. You know, just like Spider-Man, whatever. That's fine. Like when Sony comes in and funds a game because, like, if they don't, then either the game won't be made or, you know, the studio might go under, then I will allow it, because that's a corporation helping a studio survive, you know. And you can say, well, all these money hatting is helping the studio survive. Yes, but at the same time, it's hurting the industry, and it's also hurting the studio in a way that, let's say that game blows up, right? But they don't. No, that's not the right. I'm sorry. If the game potentially could have blown up if it would have been on all the consoles or whatever. So Sony's model is bass backwards, basically. And what Microsoft is doing is trying to get people, us gamers, laymen's, casuals, whatever, familiar with this new business model, if you will. Meaning, Microsoft, like, say if it's a second, third party, they fund the game, right? They fund it, they publish it, but they also put it on PlayStation. It's like, why would you do that? Why don't you make it exclusive? Because that's the old model. We want to sell games. We don't care about, oh, it's on PlayStation. They're not trying to sell you a console. The console should sell itself. Or, I mean, Call of Duty is going to sell the console, let's be real. And Game Pass is going to sell the console. So that's why Microsoft is doing what they're doing, because they already know people will buy an Xbox for Call of Duty. They already have that in the bag. They already have the winning cards. The winning hand is there. People will buy an Xbox, not because they're exclusifying all these games. It's because they have Call of Duty and it's on Game Pass. That's it. That combination, that formulation right there, that formula is what is going to make Xbox number one moving forward. They don't have to money hat. And while they're not money hatting, they're making more money on the games that would otherwise be exclusive. Now, there is value in having some exclusives, because people are like, oh, well, my digital library is here. I prefer this controller. And that's fine. But, you know, that price proposition, man, and the exclusive proposition, it's a little too, I don't know. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I appreciate you hanging out, y'all. Let me know, like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this whole money hatting, Sony money hatting, PlayStation money hatting these games. Does it seem like a movement for desperation, a desperate move in their part because they ain't got no games and they got to just try to find some games? Is this money hatting or this buying exclusives, this old way of thinking, do you think it's going to survive? You know, past Call of Duty being on Game Pass. I mean, this holiday season is going to show a lot. We're going to see these numbers, how many people are playing. It's going to be crazy. There's going to be, you know what? There's going to be more people playing Call of Duty. I think this was going to be a record year, because guess what? I'm going to play Call of Duty. I haven't played Call of Duty since Advanced Warfare. So that's how they're going to do it, because there's guys like me out there like, Not buying Call of Duty. Whatever. But it's on Game Pass. It's already there. I'm already why would I not play this? And I'm gonna play the campaign, and I'm like, yeah, give me some more. Give me some more campaigns. And I'm gonna play all of them. Because it's there. And I already paid for it. That's it. It's over. Game over. Game over for PlayStation. No PlayStation 6. Hashtag. Shout out to King. He's funny. Shout out to also Dirt and Sean. This is possibly the funniest, I'm gonna say, video game show on the internet right now. Definitely the funniest Xbox show. I was cracking. Man, and it's the chat. It's not even. I mean, it's them obviously too, but the chat does not give up. It's hilarious, and that's why I do the same thing with you guys. You guys make fun of me in the chat, call me old and all that stuff. It's all good. It's all fun. It's all dozens. It's all good, man. Like I said. Me, I got thick skin because I'm an old man, but, be nice and cordial, and, you guys can debate all you want, but, you guys know. We're all gamers here. We all want to have fun, so that's what's up. But I appreciate, once again, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Till the way.